Ekkobaane litwagoberedde mu constituency ez'enjawulo mu ggwanga lyonna okulaba nti bakandidate ba DF tebayitamu. N'ababadde bawangudde obutereevu era babbiddwa butereevu ba returning officers n'ekkobaane ebakoledde we balangirira oyita ku Ttale Center. Ekkobaane lino ekyokwewuunya lyabaddemu abali mu buyinza n'ebibiina ebimu eby'opposition. Ebifo bingi mwabadde aba DF nga bawangudde ne gye balonze emirundi emingi wabaddewo ekkobaane lino lye tukyanoonyerezaako ne belyaganyiddwa tuboogeddeko tubalambise bulungi bifo ebyenjawulo gye balangiridde abannuupu abawerako nga bavuganya n'aba DF naye nga waliwo enkolagana etali ya bulijjo tubadde tumanyi nti egenda mu maaso naye twajeeyo ku lunaku lw'okulonda. Enkolagana eyo etuwadde amaanyi okwongera okwetegereza obanga ddala abantu bano balongo oba ddala nga ya lunaku lumu yadde ya mukolo ogwo ogw'okulonda. The Electoral Commission had not prepared enough to adapt to new technology, and worse still, the care had no backup plan. But like we said in the preamble, we contend that actually they were deliberately doing this to make the whole process messy and facilitate multiple voting and ballot stuffing. The EC did not comply with the law, and thus the recently concluded presidential and parliamentary elections was conducted outside the law. The DF observed that the biometric voter verification kits worked smoothly and effectively in selected regions and constituencies. You noted that in some constituencies all machines were working, but failed dismally in targeted constituencies, resulting into fraud, voter suppression, disenfranchisement, and other election malpractices. That said, the DF hereby informs the country that we categorically reject the outcome of the entire presidential and parliamentary election process, and we are consulting on steps to take aimed at challenging processes and outcomes variously. You remember, citizens, that the DF has been at the forefront. We forewarned the country a priori, the elections, that we do not believe that the Electoral Commission had prepared enough to use these machines. Remember, my last address here at the DF headquarters was particularly on those machines. And we're not here to say that it's a déjà vu. We're just saying that citizens should learn to listen, and political actors should stop grandstanding, and they should learn to listen and cooperate. And now we know that actually the machines were not intended to facilitate an election, but as a facade to blur wide-ranging electoral fraud, as we saw it in the various parts of the country. And therefore, as the DF, we cannot associate with an outcome blurred and littered all over with fraud and malpractice. Remember, we talked about ill preparation, lack of training, lack of stimulation. You can retrieve our last presser. These are the issues. You must have worked with your cameras at polling stations, with the officials fidgeting with the gadgets, and in many places, indeed, the EC deployed and trained polling officials, essentially because they had intended to make the entire process messy to benefit and get particular outcomes. In the instance, authentic declaration of result forms were shortchanged in many places, to include Masaka, Gulu, Soroti, Kampala, Mukono, Jinja, to mention but a few, with losers being declared as winners. It's now common practice that presiding officers falsify results and courageously announce losers, and then scornfully advise winning candidates to agree by such fraudulent action to go to court. I'm sure you've captured many such courageous presiding officers, returning officers, telling winners to go to court and announcing losers with courage and straight faces. This has to be stopped. And we invite the next parliament, if it will have any effect on elections, to take this as a major reform matter and enact a law to criminalize false declaration of results by presiding officers. Because apparently, because they have gotten away with so many of such actions, they seem to have made it an art of sorts now, that you can freely declare a loser as a winner. After all, nothing will happen to you. As the DF, a party that believes firmly in a wide-ranging constitutional and electoral reforms, this is a major reform issue that must happen if Ugandans will continue having trust in electoral processes going forward. 3, man of declaration of presidential election results. DF is concerned by the manner of declaration of presidential elections results, which leaves no room for verification. The country must adopt a process where agents of presidential candidates should verify the authenticity of DRR forms at the EC National Tally Center before declaration, which is not the case today. The presidential election results, therefore, announced by the EC in the present circumstances cannot be verifiable and are prone to falsification. This urgently calls for fundamental reform. But you remember, the DF offered a solution in our reform document that presidential election results should be declared at a district level to avoid transmitted fraud as results move from one area to another. And I hope those who desire to see Uganda change for the better will learn to listen, because when you offer these solutions, we were scorned shockingly by parties in opposition. And I have seen one of them say, we want the EC to upload all DRR forms. It's nonsense. Because even if they upload it today, they have already falsified them. We offered a very simple solution that lies in informing the law on the presidential elections. So we insist as the DF that's the matter. We're not going to let lying. We're going to pick it up from where we left it. And now that we have many victims, we hope that we'll have people to listen going forward. The DF decries the blatant involvement of the military and security agencies in the election process. And we have said before, this is contrary to the law. There were several polling stations positioned inside military installations, the police and prisons. For instance, in Entebbe municipality, those who followed, several polling stations were located inside the army and police barracks. In Masaka City, the same thing. 2 polling stations were positioned inside the Masaka police barracks. And in Luzira, in Akawa East, 4 polling stations were positioned inside the Luzira maximum prison. Polling agents and other voters were denied access to these installations, rendering the process really incredible. By law, the role of the presiding officer and peace, the role of preserving order and peace during elections is that of the police. Uganda must join the League of Civilized Nations, where elections are civil processes requiring no military intervention. The UPDF constitutional role is to ensure security of Ugandans and their property by ensuring Ugandan borders, by securing Ugandan borders and from foreign aggression and threats. Elections per se are not an external security threat, and therefore it is imperative that the UPDF remains neutral rather than a partisan actor in Uganda's political process. On polling day, I'll give you an example. In Luzira, voting started, I think, probably about 5 a.m. And by the time the agents of our candidates arrived in Luzira on the gate, the boxes were all full. The 4 boxes at Luzira. And they were inside. And there was no access. This was happened. I personally called the commissioner in charge of Kampala, Dr. Simba, and raised this matter with him. And he said he has extended the matter to the returning officer of Kampala, the one Mr. Kasacha, I think. Kasacha Rashid. And he said, Kasacha said he has failed and referred the matter back to Dr. Simba. So I called back Dr. Simba. He cannot deny this. Dr. Simba told me that I should extend the matter to the chairperson, Justice Byabakama, that he has also failed. So I called Justice Byabakama. Luckily he picked. He said he has referred the matter to Dr. Simba. Now, yeah, so what are we talking about? That is part of what happened. You can ask them when you meet them at the presser whether I called them about Luzira, and they said they had no solution. So effectively, the EC had sanctioned the fraud in Nakawa East. That happened in the massacre. Dr. Abed can give you a long testimony of what happened. In Entebbe, the Honorable Kakembo called me around 11 o'clock and said, what's going here is just drama. I just want free meat for future use. Probably my children will see a film of what was supposed to be an election. And said that there's nothing I can do. The military is voting in rounds. They have made a circle, they vote, come back, vote, and go. So that's the kind of nonsense, you know. So the UPDF, its rank and file, must reflect on their historical role as the people's army. The day the people will imagine them as their enemy, they will certainly not be the UPDF anymore. And these are the kind of processes upon which they must reflect